Okay, so here's a life lesson that I learned a few years back is to not work with your family. That includes your parents, that includes your relatives, whatever. And here's my experience from that, right? So I worked with my aunt when she needed help to um, come down and work at this daycare that she owned and operated with my cousin. And at the time, she had to make me fill out a application and do a background check. And so I did all of that process, right? And I got hired right away that same day by her. Now, I was supposed to get paid about $125 a week. So when I was down there the first day, I was working up until December. Um, and I started pretty much every morning till 6 o'clock in the evening when I was done and then went home. Now, at the time when I was getting paid, I would not get paid by direct deposit. I wouldn't get paid by check. I got paid by cash. So the money that was supposed to be given to me was given uh, by mail and mailed to me or hand delivered to me when I that Friday evening when I got done working. So when I started working there, um, I realized that my aunt also hired another lady to come on because she was a retired certified teacher. And so at the time, she was supposed to come there and be a teacher, right? So she would teach, the older kids because they were more mature and they listened to her as, time went on because we didn't have enough kids to have a classroom. So she would just take a few older kids there to basically teach them arithmetic, and she would teach them how to make origami and teach them a little history, arts and crafts, and stuff. So she was there until that the whole summer up until September, October-ish. So by August when school started, because the fact that I was still in school and I haven't graduated and got my diploma, I was 18. I was over the age of 18, so that means that I can work a full-time job, right? And um at the time when the older kids went back to school, we just had the toddlers, the babies and the toddlers, until that 3 o'clock in the evening, where all the older kids from will come in and stay until the rest of the day, till 6 when we closed. So we had toddlers all day. The same lady who was that teacher became, uh, a daycare worker, just like the rest of us. So at the time I started to kind of see like, things happening. She was complaining a lot about how things were going and operated, and my aunt was not there most of the time when we were working and open. So this lady who was supposed to be the teacher ended up being a daycare worker, right? She started to complain about a lot of things like, the facility needed a upgrade and upkeep, and it was dirty and dusty. And this was becoming more and more of an issue that I think at the time she started to look at the rules and things that we were not supposed to have because it was a violation towards the daycare facility, and it could be a violation towards the state when it comes to DHS, child protective services, yada yada. So she started to just kind of be the boss and say, oh, we can't have this, we got to get rid of that, that's a violation. We can't have these certain toys that can hurt kids. We have to put that up or throw it away. Now, these toys were not bought by me, it was bought by my aunt. So they were toys that were not like, age of these babies to play with because they could be hazardous, like Legos or something that they could put in their mouths. So we got rid of that. And and so finally, I guess around September, um, everybody else was getting paid but me. So I was just like, why am I not getting paid? I'm supposed to get paid for working with you guys because I'm here 4 days a week. I worked from Monday through Thursday, and I worked from 8 to 6. Everybody was getting their pay stubs but me. So I would try to report to my aunt at the time because I thought she was paying me. I thought she was in charge of that. So for some reason, she would set me up to ask her daughter, which is my cousin. And I was like, ma'am, I don't talk to her. So why would she have my check? I hardly ever see her down here. So why would she have my check and my money when everybody else got paid and but me? So, I mean, she gave me the number anyways to call her to see what's going on. And I just remember, just asking her like, okay, I'm not seeing my money. Where's my money at? I'm supposed to get paid every week before I come home, or the money was supposed to be in the mail. So she's like, oh, they don't want to pay you anymore because you're still in school, and technically you're not old enough to get this because we have to save money. We can't pay you anymore. Okay, so now you're telling me, oh, because I'm still technically going to school, and at the time I was homeschooled, by the way, I was not supposed to get paid, but everybody else did. It was confusing to me because I was just like, I'm down here more hours than everybody else is. So I should, if anybody should have got paid more, it was me because I would with uh come in by 8 o'clock till 6 in the evening. So my aunt couldn't tell me, but my cousin did, who was not down there all the time, who was not down there every single day like I was. So, okay, I guess I found out I found out why I wasn't getting paid. But you know what? If I'm going to be doing the volunteer work, I might as well do it anyways because um, everybody else, just said, it's not really enough money. She's just giving us $200. And, I mean, I got paid 125 a week. So, okay. So, this, back to this lady who was working with us, right? I mean, the last day, she had enough, right? Because she couldn't tolerate my aunt. She did not like her to a certain point because she was trying to get a hold of her to, make these complaints about what was going on down there about these kids. And she was trying to, you know, make sure, like, she was just trying to not get fired or go to jail over something that, I mean, we weren't supposed to have. That could be a violation. What she worried about was losing her job because that was the only job she had. So my aunt would not answer the phone or talk to her because she talked a lot behind her back too. She was saying that how she was not a good daycare operator, and she was going to go down to DHS and report her because they did not we did not have the experience. I mean, to be honest with you, nobody had experience of working at the daycare with over 20 plus kids. Nobody had no certification besides her. So she would just ignore her, hang up. And so the last day I was working with her, and she just leaves and quits in the middle of the day until, my the other worker showed up. And so she started complaining to her about everything that was going on and said, this is my last day. She broke down in tears, crying. She had to go outside. She stayed outside all day until this worker showed up. So that was the last day she was there. She didn't come back. And she got all of her stuff, and she just said, You could do great, wonderful things. I know that this place is not going to be open for too long. It's going to close eventually." And she left in the middle of the day, when she wasn't supposed to, and until my aunt showed up, when she showed up probably around 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. We had all these kids and two workers there, and um, that was also the last time I saw her too. So she didn't want to get in trouble or to lose her job, so she's just like, I'm just gonna quit anyways. So I would have to sit down and talk to my aunt about it, or she called me first to sit down with her, talk to me about it, because she thought I was involved in gossiping and talking about her and experiences, because I would tell her that I was listening the whole time and I made sure that this lady did not talk bad about you, and she was talking about all the issues that we were having that could have been resolved in to 4 or 5 minutes to a week, because we did have a lot of things going on. I remember we had spiders, roaches, and we would just go get like a can of bug spray just to spray the corners and the ceilings and everything. And that was also hazardous because we had 6 month olds and babies there at the time. So I was really concerned. I didn't want to use too much just to, kill some bugs and ants. So my, we, my aunt did not hire no, bug, health, whatever, terminate, right, bug exterminator. She was against that because she didn't want to hire no white owned bug exterminator company. She's racist. But anyways, she we would just go buy a big ass can of bug spray from Home Depot and use that. And she would also, set up these little roach traps or roach motels, whatever. And it wasn't enough because we didn't even keep the bugs out. But whatever, it is what it is. Um, I think the youngest child we have was like 6 weeks old. Um, didn't stay there very long, right? The child was too young, and the daycare did require 6 weeks to 12 years old. So the baby was there probably about 2 weeks. And then we realized that the baby had something that made us break out, like in a rash or something. The baby had a diaper rash. So we couldn't take care or keep the baby in this facility because the baby had a severe diaper rash that needed to go to the doctor to be looked at. So, I mean, nothing really seriously happened where we had to call the ambulance or the police or anything like that, thank God. But, my aunt, looking back, she did have this daycare operation going and running for years until she had recently closed it the last day I worked there. So, the lady who we worked with or worked with us did leave and reported her to DHS what was going on because she wasn't listening or paying any attention. So my aunt punished me ended up blaming and punished me for getting her daycare program shut down along with two other workers that were working there, and we were just minding our own business, doing our job, coming in and going home. Like, I mean, at the time, my aunt who had this daycare operation program for years, like she didn't have any complaints. Like, she would always make like, the pass or good grade, like at least a B or an A, whatever. But I seriously, even in the back of my head, I seriously didn't believe that. But, you know, I guess in my mind, she just wasn't really reported of the things going on. But there was just, we kind of had an estranged relationship over the years. She ignored me. She was mad at me, whatever. She started to just like, treated me so different because she did not pay me. And I had a big issue with that because she hired me back in June. And like I said, I worked there 8 in the morning till 6 in the evening. $125 each week. Every Friday when I got paid, when I would come home from school because I was homeschooled at the time. So um, she finally had to. She shut down her program because of all these things going on that were too many violations. So, um, she thought that maybe I had something to do with getting her facility shut down, whatever, but everybody else was, this lady who made too many complaints. I mean, she tried to tell her, but she didn't answer her phone. So my aunt also had another job. She was a counselor at an elementary school at the time. So she had too much going on her plate. And she would come down probably like around 3 or 4 o'clock ish when the older kids came in from school. So it was just like a little daycare until their parents picked them up and came home. So, anyways, um, epilogue is that yeah, we didn't talk to each other for years. Not only because she didn't pay me, but she was also just being really disrespectful and saying that I mean, just all these things that you just come up to her mind, like, oh, I was very lazy, I was sleeping all the time, and I would try to rush and get home early. Like, the only time I did rush to get home early is because I had to finish my homework before it was due on Friday. So she would just complain every little thing that was not true. Because, first of all, I don't sleep on no job. Okay. I care too much about working that I don't have time to sleep on no job. Okay. I would get there before everybody else did. I would get there before 8 o'clock. I would be there by 7:30. Because, I mean, at the time, you know, I would try to, keep this job as long as I could, do what I was told because I didn't want to get fired myself. It was actually my first real full time job at the time because I was working at Sonic that summer. So she just did not have any resources, in my opinion. She just didn't have any resources to own and operate a daycare facility. So she was also using it as a church. It was her church and it was her daycare. So it was just everything in one place. So she didn't have this energy towards, the other workers, but she had it towards me and this lady. But the lady who worked with us was just really concerned about just like everything going on. So, you know, that's all I have to say. I never worked with my family again. None, I don't recommend it for anybody going into business with family. It's something that you have to be built for, besides it's not for everybody. So, peace out.